reforms, in particular in the judiciary, where also Council of Europe stands ready to assist. We have recently adopted the new action plan for Armenia from 2019 to 2022. It's a very broad action plan, building on the former one, and we will continue in the same way, namely working together by bringing Armenia forward and to strengthen the institutions and the checks and balances in the country, also in order to fight what is high on the agenda, I know, for the new government, namely to combat corruption. So it is great to have the Prime Minister here. I congratulate you with everything you have achieved till now, and I can reassure you that we will continue to be an important partner. It is absolutely clear Armenia is a European country rooted in European history and European values.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank one more time Secretary General Youngland for the warm welcoming. And yes, we discussed a wide range of bilateral agenda, and we stated that during the revolution, Armenia proved one more time that it is really a European country, and for that, what was very important, it was the statement that democratic revolution in Armenia, the revolution of love and solidarity, was fully domestic idea and the domestic political process, and no one foreign force was involved in our political processes. And that proved one more time that democracy fully derives from our people's mindset, from our people's wishes, and now there is no doubt that Armenian government fully devoted to the democratic reform agenda. And of course, we need to state as well that the activities that Council of Europe was doing in Armenia since the accepting Armenia as a full member of the Council of Europe, that the activities were very supportive for the democratic changes in Armenia. And of course now, when we can state that Armenia already is a democratic country, now also we hope and we need for support from Council of Europe, because we need that huge experience that Council of Europe has in implementing and succeeding in democratic changes and establishing a real and institutional democracy, rule of law, freedom of speech, human rights protection, independent judiciary, etc. And we agreed that we will continue to cooperate fully in making Armenian democracy stronger and stronger.
Time for some questions, please. Yes.
After the UN meeting, the Defense Minister Tonayan gave a statement which contradicts your attitude towards the meeting. What would you like to say about that?
You know, I don't think that there is a contradiction. It is an issue of the interpretation of situation, because you know our only proposal is to stop to threaten each other with force. We need that to stop to use threatening wording relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, between Nagorno-Karabakh and Azerbaijan. And our proposal is to prepare our societies for peace and not for war. And we hope that our partners in Azerbaijan will address our call. And when they will do that, we will have a completely different situation.
Lady from, sorry, excuse me, no, we have no time for the second question, sorry.
Armenian Public Television. Hello, Mr. Younglad, I have a question for you. 2 days ago, the Council of Human Rights told that it is very impossible to visit the gray zones. What do you think? What practical steps it needs to take to resolve this process? Thank you.
Yeah, I have made a very concrete proposal on that. First of all, it is built on my principal position, which I have held for a very long time, namely that it is unacceptable that Council of Europe monitoring bodies and the Human Rights Commissioner cannot work in certain areas on the territory of Europe, the so-called grey zones, and Nagorno-Karabakh is such a grey zone for us because we are not able to work there because it is being blocked. My proposal is that we should now look at the mandate of the Human Rights Commissioner, which is a very wide one, and that the Commissioner should have the right to go everywhere she wants in the way she sees possible, and that this should be underpinned by a political statement, let's say, from the governments of Europe, so that this can be possible. Of course, it would be better if the monitoring bodies, the permanent monitoring bodies of ours, could do the same, but let's start with the Human Rights Commissioner, and it is for me self-evident that the Human Rights Commissioner should be allowed to work in a non-political way, and her work should not at all affect our views on the status of these areas. She is entertaining really a humanitarian work, full stop, and it should be seen like that.
One last question, please.
Mr. Yaglak, Mr. Prime Minister, if you react, I would appreciate. So, do you have any new suggestion for Armenia, and what do you expect, especially in this post-revolution period, from Armenian new government regarding to human rights, democratic reforms?
Well, what I have heard today, and I've seen it previously from the new government, that the government has a reform agenda. It is committed to, for us, which is very important, reforms in the judiciary. And of course, it's important also to look at how the opposition can work and how the media can work in a system of checks and balances. And that is also the only way to combat corruption, because we don't buy a parliament, buy an independent judiciary, an independent news media, then we always get corrupt. So what I've heard is that this is the agenda of the government, which we of course will do everything we can to support.
There's nothing to it.
I was a spokesman of the government.
It is the decision of the Yerevan municipality to name one of the squares in the city center of Yerevan as Europe Square, and it is decision, and I would like to pass this. So we have Europe Square in Yerevan.
Thank you very much. And it underlines what I said at the outset, that Armenia is a European country, has always been, and it is rooted in European history and European values. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you understand?